Wayne
Yes.
is not consumed with what is happening around and everybody else. He focuses on himself. And that is a big thing for me, is I'm not worried about what people may think. Like, I don't think the world, like, we operate in the space as creative CEOs, entrepreneurs. We
Mm.
operate in the space of being competitive. I focus on the Karen Civil brand, what honors me, what honors the foundation that I stand in, what honors my ancestors, and what would make my Haitian Dominican parents proud.
Amazing. I mean, that is amazing. And I think it's so important that you don't phase yourself with the competition and phase yourself with what's around and all the noise. You need to just focus on your lane, focus on your
Yeah,
purpose, and everything that is meant for you will be for
will
you.
be for
There's no,
you.
yeah, there's no opportunity that you're going to lose out on. Otherwise, it wasn't meant for you in the first place, right?
Yes, because I tell people all the time, I know people may not be big on NASCAR, but one thing I learned from watching it a few years ago with Dale Earnhardt Jr. is he would say, you know, you got to focus on the road. And I'm like, why does he keep saying that? And that made me realize, and I took it in my own way of saying, focus on my journey, focus on my path. Because if you don't focus on the necessary road, what do they do in NASCAR? They crash. So you're
Right.
going to crash focusing on, if you're not obligating and putting that time, that effort and pouring into you, but you're so busy looking to your left and your right to seeing, okay, this is the cool thing. I need to jump on this, or I need to be Mr. Person too, then you're going to crash. So it's all about being
100%.
organic, being true to yourself, knowing who your audience is, being as authentically yourself as possible. So my goal is, I don't live a life of wanting to make people jealous. I don't want to be like, ha ha, I'm better than you. I want people, when they see me, they
Mm.
feel inspired. They go, a black girl is over here. She can run around with YG, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, and
Mm.
then she can go campaign with Hillary Clinton, and she can go do events with Louis Vuitton. This cap that comes when it comes to black creatives, I don't believe in.
There's
There's
no
no glass
ceiling.
ceiling.
Right.
We have the highest buying power. We have the highest media value. You know, we have disposable income. We set the tone. Everybody wants everything to do with black people, especially black women,
Yeah.
except us. So you're not
Yeah.
going to take all the pieces of me and not accept me. So that's the way I operate.
Preach.
But in that same instance is when I'm able to have these opportunities, I make sure I don't crack the door open. I leave that shit wide open, because there should be
100%.
other creatives and other women who are great, who are, or people of color who are great at what they do, and they deserve an opportunity
A
as
hundred
well.
percent. Oh
Hmm.
God, look at the tea. The comments are bubbling. Right. So do you know what? Like, I feel like a lot of the people in this live, they already know a lot
I'm
about
sorry, can
you.
I just say real quick,
No, good.
because the phone's a little bit away from me, I can't read every comment. I'm gonna go back and read them later. So I apologize. I love everyone. I'm trying to see. I'll like, when this is over, it saves, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll be
save
able
it
to
and I'm
see your
recording it now.
comments, and I'll probably
Yeah,
DM you and things later. But love to everybody.
100%.
I just can't see it the best. And
That's fine.
a girl's glasses, I should have picked them up.
It's all good. It's all good. We're
Mhm,
covered from all sides. A lot of people in the comments that are following right now, they
mhm.
definitely know a lot about you. And if you don't, I urge you to do the research. There is so much about
Yes.
Karen's come up. So
I was
I'm
just
not gonna.
having this conversation with somebody.
There
Wikipedia
is
is free, Google's
there's
free, the
so
bio
much.
in our Instagram tells you, but I don't let titles define me, because
Right.
titles can be given and titles can be taken away. I am a person, if you want to know who I am, I'm a person living in purpose and living the life that she set for herself, and not letting society or the boundaries that they set for people of color, especially women of color, to follow. So if you want
100%.
to give me a title, a woman living in her
Her
purpose.
purpose. That's
Yes.
it. So we're going to get straight into the questions. So enough love to everybody who signed up and were able to submit your questions. There was literally over hundreds of questions, and I knew that if I didn't streamline this before the live, it would have got real messy. So
Yeah.
I'm going to head straight into the first one. So the
Okay.
first one is, how can I go about starting a business during this pandemic without
Mhm.
having access to product? So this is someone that's come in, they want to start their business, but because of everything that's going on, they don't have access to the products. How can they go about starting a business right now?
I mean, it depends on you shift it. There's some people who have businesses now, but at the end of the day, when you start a business, there's a need for something. So
Right.
for instance, I was saying I haven't worn my real hair in a very long time. I had to do it myself, right?
100%.
So say for somebody who may be a hairstylist, I set time with this young lady, Miko, who is a hairstylist out in Los Angeles. I set up a one-on-one FaceTime call with her. She charged me. She gave me all the steps and tools I needed to learn how to do my hair. So it's figuring out ways to just transition your business. And there are needs for things that still continue to keep you safe, that have social distance. You still keep your social distancing rules in place. Say another thing is I'm using hairstylists again. A lot of them can't open up their salons, but there are a lot of women who wear wigs. So why don't you create a cleaning service for them? You know, you take all of their wigs, you clean them, you handle what needs to be handled, you repluck them, fix, whatever, and you charge them maybe $50, $60 each, and you drop it off on their front door, however, to still keep things in place. For people who may be, who say like, oh, I really want to start my nail business. Right now, press-ons, you know, it's like you can set a press-on business. People are, you know, you can create, there are companies like Printful, for instance, that create the clothing for you. So you can even start making clever little t-shirts or things, you know, quarantine and chill, or little things of that nature. Now fashion masks are in, you know, because we need them for our safety. Right. So I have a ton of fashion masks that look cute with my outfits.
We need to look cute too. Yeah.
I have the regular protective one, but then I put other ones over my face. There's so many different business opportunities and different things you can do, from drop shipping to, you know, people are still using Etsy. That's something that I love. You know, there are people who, you know, their families are at home, children are at home. So things that, you know, you can be able to provide a service or whatever that may be. You can throw your business up on Shopify, Etsy. So it's like, don't let this situation hinder you. But at the same time, for people, I want to say too, if you choose not to start a business and you're just using this time like mentally to be okay, that's all right. Because I've seen so much messaging where it's like, if you're not starting a business right now, you're lazy. Some people mentally aren't in a good place because they're away from family members. They're by themselves. They're figuring out, like, you know, life is rough. They don't know what to expect. A family member died. So you waking up, you still persevering and going through it is a big step. But restructure the business, rethink of new things, and think to yourself, like, what opportunities can I provide somebody that's not available and things right now? Like this young lady, this company, Bare Love, I work with, they have a delivery service that's so incredible. And this is Black women, because Postmates, Uber Eats, Amazon Fresh, all of them are booked. Right. So I found an independent company who was already doing design stuff, but now they move it over to a delivery service. I give them a list of things I need, my candles, my flowers, my thing, everything that I may need for the week. They go, they properly shop, drop it off at your door. You give them the Venmo, your receipts in the bag. Perfect. You just find ways. It's really just about being creative. Give yourself some time. Things that are up here. Things that are up here get forgotten. Write it down on a piece of paper. Start to flush things out, because paper never forgets.
Ooh, I love that. Paper never forgets. Guys, write that down. Does, but paper never forgets. Paper never forgets. I am so here for that. All right. The second question is, what is something you wish you told your younger self with the knowledge that you have today? I mean, how did you go from, you know, being obsessed with AOL discs, to creating fan sites for Backstreet Boys, to this maven that you are today? Like, what could you tell your younger self about what was she was about to prepare for? I'd probably be my cheerleader, because I wanted acceptance, you know, just like everybody else. I wanted acceptance from all the wrong people. I denied my heritage. I denied being Haitian for a very long time. I changed my middle name.
My name is Karen is Civil, which is abbreviated for Karen Israel Civil. For a very long time, I changed it so it seemed more urban, and the
Wow.
black kids at the time would like me because they did not identify and didn't think Haitian was black. So when
Right.
people think I say that, I don't separate. I'm just saying that's how it was categorized at the time.
Right.
And I spent so much time trying to fit into a world where God purposely created me in a way to stand out and live in purpose. So I
Right.
would have told myself, like, girl, you're absolutely fine. You're beautiful. You got this.
Yeah.
That's the only thing is not letting insecurities hinder who I was as an individual, and stop looking for outward love when I really just had to search inward for it.
100%, 100%. You have to be your own cheerleader. I love that. Now, when it comes to branding, you've been able to do it excellently. You have your own personal brand, which is Karen Civil.
Yeah.
You've been able to branch into Always Civil and Always, and then Live Civil as well. So you've got your philanthropy arm, you've got your empowerment arm, you've got your music arm. There's a lot going on, but you've done it seamlessly. So how long did it take for you to actually find the right branding and fit for you? What was the process that you had to endure to kind of be like, well, this is Karen Civil, these are my brands, this is how I'm going to tell the world about it?
So we're probably 15 years in now, give or take. No, I say a little bit less, like 12 years. Yeah. But when I started doing one thing. I didn't come into it trying to be jack of all trades. And because of social media, so many people see stuff now and think I'm just like, oh, how you do it all? It started with one thing. I started with my KarenCivil.com website. And instead of trying to target larger artists, I said, this is a new brand. Let me target new artists who are coming up. Let me grow with them. Let me give them a place to showcase their music and things like that. Their fans will support me. I'll support them. And that way I can create a bridge of relationships. I can create this synergy. Because Issa Rae has said this numerous times. It's not about building up. It's about building across. So that's how I started. I built across. My good friends and one of my best friends, Brian Miller, everyone knows him as B-Dot from Rap Radar. He put me on to artists early. I met Mac Miller, who is still one of my best friends. J. Cole used to go to the barbershop with him, and he was like, hey, here's a CD, listen to this person, you know. And it was so many different, even with like Drake. My first interview with him was at Starbucks. I believe it was like his birthday, Starbucks outside of across from Penn Station, you know. And even with these type of moments, it's just me starting with the website. And when the website started to grow, at that time, bloggers didn't come out. Bloggers weren't really known. It was just a blog. But I wanted people to know the personality behind it. I would pull up. I'd have my different hats. I branded myself as the hip hop blossom. And I found ways to set my interviews apart from everybody else. And that's really what mattered. And so once the site started to take off and do well, you know, then artists would be like, yo, who's this girl? She's really good. And they weren't as savvy with social media back then. So they're like, hey, could you help me? It was my birthday. I was in Miami. I met Mac Main, who was at Wet Willie's at the time. And, you know, people walk up to them like, hey, I got a demo. I want to be an assistant. I'm trying to be a girlfriend. I'm like, no, you know, I know Young Money is building as a label. I'd love to figure out synergies with you. I'm more in the social digital space. And he was so confused, but he was respecting the conversation because, you know, they're not expecting that, no offense, from young Black people. They're thinking, okay, she probably trying to talk to me. She's a dancer, an assistant. There's nothing wrong with those things. But like the typical normal things, the preconceived notions of what they think people want from them. So we built a relationship. Then from there, I was able to help with the ushering of like Tyga and XYZ when they did their rollouts. And then when Wayne went to jail in 2010, that's when I was able to create my Always Civil brand, which was about marketing, because he's in prison. He has his Rebirth album coming out. And at this time, it's like, I'm in jail. How am I going to do this? I'm getting all this mail. And my marketing hat, like Matt called me and was like, you got to figure this out. He's getting a lot of letters. We gotta do something. We need the promo. We need a #1 album. And I created Weezy Thanks You, spelled it in his way. We launched it on Father's Day. And this was way before you're thinking Twitter, like, you know, before Twitter was as big as it was, and people were still on Facebook and using MySpace. Yeah. And this is the first time you really got to interact and see Wayne in a different light and read his letters. And that right there created a domino effect, because them taking an opportunity on me, because Matt called and said, hey, you know, we're not paying you. I said, oh yeah, because I didn't understand the business aspect of it. He was like, yeah, so you got to send a W-9. I said, okay. I looked it up. Then I knew I needed a business manager. I know I needed to get a financial advisor. I needed an accountant. All those things started to come into play, because then I set my Always Civil Enterprise name, which is an acronym for ACE, because I'm good at what I do. And I'm not going to apologize. I'm good at what I do. So Wayne was the catapult, and to this day, it's such an incredible feeling to be able to still work with them. But that's where it started from. It was me starting my website. I knew creating that website was my foundation, because once a foundation is built, something grows from it. My tree grew from it, and then I was able to have all these other branches, which I branched off, and then had my marketing and media company. Then I myself became a brand. Then I became in philanthropy. I started my Live Civil platform, which is all about empowering women. Then I started my Live Civil Foundation. And now, you know, I started in management with Nipsey. And now it's like, yesterday officially released like my first artist, Mitch, who is signed to Interscope 400 Records under YG. So it's such an incredible feeling. But really, it starts with the foundation. I didn't come in thinking I was to be a jack of all trades. So start with the one thing you think, as soon as I excel at this, it's great, it makes me feel good, I'll be able to branch off, do other things, and get to that place. And it was one of the greatest things for me. It was it's something I'm glad I took a chance on. But honestly, it starts with creating that foundation. Don't come into it. I tell my cousin this all the time, because she'll be like, hey, auntie, I'm doing this. I'm proud of her. I'll send her what she needs. 6 months later, she's like, oh, it didn't hit.
Do you know, I think,
girl, you gave it 6 months. Like, sometimes you won't see a return on interest in your business for the first 2 years. It's called sacrifice. And I said, I'm not about to post you again. I said, that's it. I said, if you commit a year to yourself and your business, I will commit to you too. But you have to put in that effort.
I think that is literally the problem that even I have sometimes, and a lot of our generation now has. We want this instant gratification. Like, we kind of want everything instantly. If we launch a business or we launch a brand, if we're not selling 100 units on the first day, then we feel like that's a dub. But you know, you guys say, Nipsey said, the marathon continues. You got to play the long game. You got to see it through, and I love that.
Yes, I started with Nipsey in 2013. So when I see that, people like, oh, I love Nipsey, I love that. I'm like, that's 2013. He was doing way more before then. So it's like to see the greatness now come and how people are excited about it. But we do live in this microwavable era. There are some people, because everything is fast. We consume information quickly. It goes quickly, comes and goes, everything. But there are some people, yes, they're going to get their quickness and it's going to be 100,000 in sales. There are some people, it may take a bit longer. But that's why I go back to what I originally said. Your race is your race. Stop focusing on, you know, there can be another entrepreneur who's probably similar, probably doing what I'm doing, or we're in the same lane, and their book came out. Like when my book came out, it did great. I probably did 14,000 the first week. I was very excited by that. I know other people who were a bestseller who did way more than me. I'm not crying about it. You know what I mean? I'm excited for the people who took me in and what I got and what blessing I have. And that's what you need to worry about. Remove that like notion of I'm in a microwavable era. I need it right now. If it doesn't happen right now, it's never going to happen. Be patient with your process. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your dreams. Because if you're not patient with yourself, who else is going to be?
100%. Jeez, I'm feeling this. I am feeling this. All right.
You know, it's Sunday, so we gotta
yeah,
get into
this
it.
is church. This is church for real. All right. Okay. Next question. How do you manage a team of people? What are the pros and cons of running multiple businesses that relate to your personal brand? And I think that's important because it's always a lot harder to trust somebody else with your vision. But in order to scale up, you're going to have to expand your team. So how can you get the best results with people believing in your vision and not necessarily, you know, them kind of coming in, taking what they want and then going somewhere else to create their own thing? How do you trust in the process?
One thing is, I don't need like-minded people. I don't need anybody who thinks like me, who wants to be me, any of that, because all that is jealousy, envy, and you just want to take. I don't need those people in my life. If you're going to come into a situation, how are you going to add value? Because at the end of the day, the Karen Civil brand is a Voltron. We collectively all come together and we are a superpower. Running a business, I tell people, is like you're going to have it's a revolving door. There are going to be people coming in and out, and I'm not mad at it. I've been through a lot of people. It's like, hey, you didn't work for the team. I wish you the best, but this is not the best situation because things, my brand's alignment, I tell them at the beginning, this is what I need. This is how it needs to go. This is the way, this is what I'm thinking. And if you can't align with that, fine. There are going to be times where I know I like to micromanage everything, but I had to release the reins, and you have to trust people. So there's been a point of, you know, my management, my agency now is incredible. The people I work with me, I'm so happy. But there were people before that, it was, I'm very happy, but you know what? You're moving in a direction that's not keeping up with me, or you're moving in a direction that I necessarily don't align with. So I need to move over here. I'm never going to feel bad or feel sad for putting me or my business and my ideologies first. So never feel bad when it comes to a point like, oh, I had to fire someone else, or I had to let somebody else go, and things like that. Because there are people who get it and people who don't. I've had people steal from me. I've had people lie on my name to build their brands.
Wow.
So, you know, I'm even at this point going through litigation, because it's like, you can give people a platform, you can do certain things, but then they're like, you know what? I want to be this person. Now I'm gonna try to cripple Karen's name to build myself up, to get myself a look and XYZ. But they don't understand that my hustle and my God will never, ever, ever let you take a blessing that was meant for me. And I know this person is watching. So let me look in the camera real well. Moving on.
You got your answer there. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So cool.
moving right along.
Moving on.
Yeah. Moving right along. It's really important to understand. Don't feel bad. You're gonna have your turnover, but don't feel bad asking for help and connecting with people in your circle, or like who utilize in your community that are great. Now my focus is, I worked with a lot of men. And 2020, which I know is a dub at this point for so many people, to me, I'm more excited for the Black woman. So I've been partnering more, doing more with women. A lot of people on my management team are Black men. I support and I love them. My Live Civil team, all women, all Black women, all incredible women. So I'm making sure I'm giving an opportunity. More than anything, the Karen Civil team is a mixture of young, creative, Black people of color, and it makes me feel so good. The young lady like Lupe, who does my Civil TV interviews, she goes out and she gets it done. She's an incredible Latina girl who's out here killing it. My videographer Taylor, who's from Chicago, you know, she has her own business. So to me, sometimes when I can't even find the employee, I'm okay with partnering with people who may have their own company. Let's utilize each other's resource, opportunity, and chances to people who's not giving us opportunity and chances, since I'm in that place.
100%. And kind of moving off the back of people who might try and cripple your ideas or
Never,
your business in any
never,
capacity.
never.
Well, they're never going to do
Never.
it.
No,
Let's not even give them.
That's
true.
Because,
It's true. How have you managed to
they crippled Superman before they could ever cripple me? Go ahead.
How have you managed? I love it. How have you managed over like the past, let's say, decade to then forge some meaningful relationships? Earlier in the live, you said that 2 individuals helped you so much so in the startup. So how have you managed to kind of like forge and maintain those relationships? I know you live in LA as well. So when you moved there for the first time, I can imagine it was a bit kind of scary, like, where's my tribe? So
like
how did it all come together?
I was like a fish out of water when I moved here, because I didn't really have friends. You know, they say you just, when you come to LA, move with your foundation, because you can get so lost and consumed in things quickly, because you can get drugs before you get a therapist, any type, you know? And for me, it's pretty much about coming into it. I treated everybody with respect. I gave everyone the same respect I'd want for myself. And that means from when I walked into a store, I'm not pressed to just talk to the manager, the associates, the this, the that, and everything else. And again, a big thing is I made sure to network across, because as I'm new in this situation and meeting people, these people are growing too. They're putting themselves in a better place. And it was just wonderful. And it worked. It honestly worked in my favor. It worked being authentic. It worked being myself. I didn't just hit them when I go, hey, can you do me a favor? It's, hey, I know you just want to send you love and light. It could be their birthday. I just send regular flowers. You know, say, I know a lot of people are out here just like me, by themselves, quarantining alone. I use that same delivery company, Black women, to deliver these little care packages to them, to let them know somebody's thinking about them. So it's just about, I tell people it's like a seesaw kind of thing. It's like, I ask, how can I help you? How can I pour into you? Not just like, yo, let's get together, I want to pick your brain. Or how can I use you? Or how can I do this? Or how can I do that? When the time is right, it'll organically come. I never force it. There's some relationships that don't work, and that's okay. The ones I do have, I appreciate. And now I'm at a place of discernment. I kind of know my heart and spirit. I know who really cares about Karen and the Karen Civil brand and the attachment of it. And that goes for business, that goes for personal, and that goes for men too. So it's just like all of that comes into it. But it's about honestly being true to yourself, just being an honest person, and having meaningful things, and not just hitting somebody like, hey, I just put out my new thing. Like, just randomly talk on DM, or I just amazing. I'm astonished. Like, I love your growth, you know? And it's like, even with you, I'm leaving a comment, I'm giving positive words. I don't need anything in return. I don't need anything in return. It's just pouring into one another. It's just pouring into you. And that's what works for me. It's just being a genuine individual, and not necessarily just always being in this opportunist mode that the world at times puts us in.
Speaking about opportunists, because you are so instinctive with your ideas, and you're able to see a moment and be like, right, let's do this, let's do that. How have you managed to handle maybe other people calling you an opportunist when really you're just living in your purpose and you're coming up with amazing ideas and trusting them? Because I feel like sometimes when you are on the come up and you're on the go and people are giving you love and giving you accolades, a lot of people can look over and be like, she's doing too much, she's an opportunist. How do I and other people who are in the same position block that out?
Can I give you a good metaphor? Could you give me 1 minute so I could go get it?
Yeah, go.
Give me 1 minute. Tell them, hold on, I'll be right back.
Go.
I'm coming. 1 minute.
I hope you guys in the comments are absolutely loving this. I'm telling you, this is free game from the one and only Karen. Like, honestly, I'm inspired. I'm smiling. I can't stop smiling. So this is incredible. Honestly, if you're not following Social Fix, make sure you are following, and sign up to our newsletter in the link in our bio. This is our Sunday evening. She's on her way. Look at the flags though.
So ask me that question one more time. So I can give you the proper answer. Ask me one more time.
All right, cool.
Because ask me one more time.
How do you block out the naysayers and the people who will call you opportunistic when really you're just following your truth and being instinctive with your ideas?
Is my son, is the light shining too bright for you? Is my light shining too bright for you?
No.
Would you like me to dim it? This is me.
I wasn't expecting that.
Here's the shades. Because I'm not turning down my greatness for nobody.
No.
You better ask Stevie Wonder what he does, because I'm not turning down my light, and I'm not taking in anybody else's. For this, I'm going to dim it down because we need to have a real conversation, but you get my metaphor.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not dimming my light. I'm not dimming who I am, and I'm not taking the constructive criticism and the words of everyone else. How you feel about me is not how I feel about myself. If it's coming from an actual place of love and somebody who's really like, Karen, you're moving funny, or it's somebody that I adore, cool. But I get that all the time. People are like, oh, she's a groupie. I'm like, I'm a groupie to what? Because if I was a groupie to something, I'd have 5 incredible kids right now. One whose father could be in the NBA, who could be in the NFL, who could be a rapper, who could be this, who could be that. So mind your business. Like, everyone is going to clock what you do. And people will clock what you do instead of clocking into their life. So with that, I have nothing else to say but shades. Shout out to Corey. But shades to them, because I have nothing to give y'all. I'm not dimming my light because it bothers you. My success, your success more than anything, to everyone watching, your success should never hinder somebody else's. My success 100%. Should never hinder you. You should never want me to be good and not great. Don't cap my success. Don't try to limit my potential. No cap. Because you know why? They've limited their potential because of their environment. They saw themselves at a certain place, and unfortunately, because the way their vision is set up in their mind, they see that vision for you. No, I'm not an opportunist. I'm a girl out here getting it. I've heard the worst of myself. But you know what? I don't take it in, because these people don't know me. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know my situation. They don't know the time and effort that I put in. So, you know, I'm giving back to a community. I'm giving back to a community that has given me so much. And the community, I mean, is people, the world, the earth, and everything else. So when I hear those little things, they're minuscule to the amount of incredible things and people you could have helped. So that one negative thing doesn't ever equate to anything, because I know I'm living in purpose. I'm chasing a dream, and I'm doing it in a correct, positive way. I'm not hurting anyone. So that's that. So 100%. I just tell them, like, turn Stevie Wonder to it. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to like me. You can block me. You don't have to engage with me. I tell people that all the time, because, for instance, I was speaking on Twitter about a particular show, and people were mad that I liked it. And we're going back and forth like, oh, trying to minimize because my name is Karen. I said, you're not going to make me feel bad. My mama named me Karen. So it's just like, you're not going to make me feel bad because my name's Karen, and this little joke that's going around, and you're trying to invalidate my opinion. It's my opinion. This is my life. These are the choices I'm making. If you're not trying to add value, or you're trying to help me to better myself, then I suggest you clock out of my life and clock into yours. Here we go. Next question.
And there we have it, girls. There we have it. Okay. Right.
Don't mind me. I'm being silly with you. I'm just like being myself.
I know. We need this.
Like
we
so
need
serious.
this.
I'm usually
no,
like
we
so
needed this
all the time. So
no,
I'm just like,
but this is the thing. You are laid back, and you are 100%. You are laid back, and you are chilled. And I feel like a lot of people sometimes see women who are killing it and bossing it, and they want to make them, you know, feel square, and oh she looks like a bitch, or she looks like that. But no,
everyone's
we're
like,
having fun.
Yeah, they think like, because I'm quiet at times when I'm in new situations, so I don't really always give this, but I'm just me, and I thought this was a great 100%. Time for people to see me. I say the most clever, funny lines. I'm just having fun with it. I enjoy your company. We had fun when we was outside. Our picture game was lit. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back.
No, we're gonna
yeah.
bring you back to London. Post-corona, you're coming back. You're coming back for
You
sure.
don't understand. People are working out to work on their abs. I'm working out to prepare myself from getting up from my seat to go to baggage claim. That's what my workout consists of. They're like, that's all I'm working out for. Like literally lifting my bag, putting it down, how I'm gonna put it on a tray, like how I'm gonna rest my neck on a neck pillow, and all of that. That's what my workout consists of. That's what my workout consists of. Getting ready to be back at the airport.
Oh gosh, we need it. We need you back. Okay, so moving back into kind of like the world of branding and social media, a lot of people want to know, how do I build and grow a brand? How do I build and grow a brand successfully on social media? So are there any like tips and tricks on how we can do that?
Yes. So before you even get to the point of brand, you have to have an audience, people you're tapped into, right? So first, what is it that you want people to know? Is it about you? Are you a comedian? Is it a product or whatever it may be, right? So you start with that first. You build your audience. You turn that audience now has to engage with you. There's fine that people follow you, but they're not engaging. Then you want to turn it into engagement. Then when you get engagement and people are, yes, I love you, hand emoji, prayers, hearts all the time. Right. Then from that engagement, you want to turn them into loyalists. So when you drop a blog or you drop a product or you drop a whatever, you know, they're loyal to you. They're pushing it out. They see it. They're excited for you and everything else. And then from loyalists, you want to eventually get them to consumers. So now when they're consumers, because you see people all the time who have 100 million followers, but when album week comes out, you're like, what happened? That's where it trickles down. It's tricky because certain people only live in certain boxes. So you have to stream and get them all the way across, where now you're a consumer where, okay, I'm going to drop a merch line. They're going to buy it. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. But what I'm happy and I want to say first here is I've decided to do a whole, you know, I had my Live Civil Academy. I was charging people for it. That's done. COVID-19, I am not asking you for any money. I don't want anything from anyone. I want people to use this time to utilize, figure out your mental and yourself. But I'm officially first saying this here. I'm going to do my Live Civil Creative Week. It starts on Monday. I have folks.
I'm in.
I have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Who else do we have? YouTube and Snapchat coming to teach you how to utilize your platform, to figure out the algorithm. They're answering. I'm talking about these women work at these companies and they're going to be helping you on the Live Civil page. Make sure, I'm going to type it in here one more time. It's at Live Civil.
Yes, send us the link and we'll post it in our newsletter and put it in our bio.
Okay.
This is
Thank you. All week, starting at 1 p.m. PST time. And what that's going to do is you're going to be in there, ask all the questions, everything you need. They're going to be in there to help you. And I'm doing this for free because there's so many people who have conversations. And I'm going to do a part 2 because I know there's Shopify, there's Twitter, there's way more other platforms. But for this week, these ladies have dedicated their time. I'm not charging you nothing. Just have your pen, everything ready. I'm going to post about it, but I want to tell you first and your audience, totally free. We're going to have 30 minutes to an hour of free knowledge from people who work at these companies. So if you're like, yo, I'm shadow banned, is this true? Or, you know, my YouTube is up. What type of hashtags I should be using? How can I popularize my video on TikTok? They're all going to be in there. Ask away. And they're answering questions. It's going to be so incredible. So thank you to all the women who are taking part. Yes.
Guys, throw some fire emojis in the comment section right now. Fire emojis, fire emojis,
free. Because I know money has to be allocated other places. So while I can help during this time of people, I want to be there for you. And I want to be there for you. And I want to do as much as possible.
Drop the fire emojis in the comments so Karen can see the love. Because
and I'm going to put the name of my Live Civil page. Make sure that you're following it. Make sure you're following it for access. I'm doing it now.
Perfect. This is exactly what we need.
And it starts on Monday with Miss Brown, who is incredible with understanding the Instagram platform and everything else. She is going to be going in. Tuesday, we have my girl Trish from Snapchat. We have YouTube on Wednesday, I believe. And I believe what's after YouTube. I don't know the exact schedule. It's on my phone that I'm kind of utilizing now.
No, it's fine.
Women. Thank you to these women, and we're going to make it possible for everyone here who has a whole